It's quite common for new classes to be introduced with 4 and 5 star operators, which can be obtained for free, as was the case with Contrail and the Skyranger subclass. This time, we have the guard Hadiya, introducing the Mercenary subclass, a subclass that will face a lot of competition right from the start. So let's see what new mechanics this subclass introduces with this operator. The Mercenary subclass seeks to replicate the experience of hiring a mercenary, as these units will use our deploy points to activate abilities or upgrades for themselves. One downside of this is that it doesn't make them a viable unit to place at the start of the level, since if they start consuming RDP, we'll have trouble placing other units, similar to what happens with the merchant class, but with a benefit that we can control when the unit consumes RDP. Now let's move on to Hadiya's talent, Child of the Wilds. This talent causes Hadiya to gain an attack boost and stun all enemies within her attack range every time she uses DP. In addition to the DP this unit can spend, we must add a new feature called Equipment Alteration. This allows us to activate an additional effect on operator skills. However, we must meet certain conditions to activate them, which we will discuss below. Her first skill, Enhanced Desert Tactics. Activating it for the first time increases Hadiya's defense. However, in exchange for 10 DP, we can activate Equipment Alteration, which also increases her attack until the skill ends. As I mentioned earlier, when we activate the second effect, Hadiya will proceed to stun the units in front of her, so it's a good idea to activate it as soon as she's blocking 2 enemies. Since the cost is 10 DP, it's relatively good if you plan to use it in the early stages of the level, as the cost may not affect you too much if you already have a Vanguard deployed. Now let's move on to her second skill, Blade of the Concave. To use this skill, you must spend 10 DP. When activated, Hadiya's attack range increases, allowing her to strike 2 enemies at once. The best part is that the range also affects her talent, so you can stun multiple enemies simultaneously. If you activate her Equipment Alteration, you'll extend the skill's duration by an additional 15 seconds. However, this requires spending another 15 DP, meaning you'll spend a total of 25 DP for a single use of this skill. If you want to make the most of this skill, I don't recommend using this operator at the start of the level, as she'll burn through your DP very quickly, making it hard for you to deploy more operators. Also, keep in mind that it might not be a great idea to leave her defending alone against multiple enemies. Personally, due to the range increase, I think the best strategy would be to place her next to a defender who can hold off multiple enemies, while Hadiya strikes and stuns them. As for her base skills, these are focused on accelerating the training of guard operator skills, so if you don't have operators with these abilities, she might be very useful to you. In my personal opinion, I'd say Hadiya is an operator with some interesting ideas. The new Mercenary subclass opens up a lot of interesting possibilities. However, for now I'd say she isn't a priority unit, since there are operators who do almost the same thing as her without the need to spend DP. But I think she's one of those units that will see a major improvement once she gets her module, so I'll be keeping an eye on her, as well as on how this subclass will be utilized in the future. That's all for this guide. I hope it has helped you better understand this operator and her new subclass. Without further ado, take care and see you next time.